Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every seam. It's the bigger love of the family.
Welcome into yet another wonderful Chief Talk. Let's drop that Jay Bates music down just a little bit so we can hear the Chief himself speaking. Welcome into yet another Thursday night Chief Talk, broadcasting live from the Bob Cigar Guy Dream Builders. We got Humidor Cigars and Drinks studio. Before we do get started in the show, I want to come in and say hello to Supremo Tobacco. He also said that he was just going to leave his computer on this evening because he had to go do something with his family. Hey, I love you. Thank you for leaving the computer open. If we hit 30 tonight, it'll be because of you. Jim, welcome in. Got here early to make sure his seat was nice and warm. Fireborn, Dan Burns, Michael Zachbeck, Gary Zanstra, admin himself, the one who's going to have to monitor the comments this evening. Charles Adamson, Gary Brooks, Cigar Pop, welcome into the show. Stogie Sister, glad to have you with us this week. Bob Ellis, my man Jay Bates. Who else we got over here? Matt, the man Brugger. And I think I've caught up with everybody in the comments section over here. Welcome into the show. I want to know, what are you drinking? What are you smoking? Let's pause this music before it jumps off again. Before we do fully get into the show, I want to say a big thank you to our show sponsors, making sure that Chief Talk is brought to you every single week. Drew Estate Cigar and Natura Cigar coming in hot with the heat, with the money, the funds, and everything to make sure that you all have your Thursday night little bit of respite, relax, and fun. Pop Cigar Guy is looking at me funny. I don't know what I said, but obviously I said something that was somewhat hilarious over there. Gary Brooks says we need a Chief Talk branded Chevette for cool photo op. Ooh, you know what? That wouldn't be half bad of an idea. Bob Ellis is smoking in Avo, Nicaragua. But do please let me know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking this evening? I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna pop out of the studio. I'm gonna actually light up a real cigar, and I don't think I'm gonna pour myself anything. I might pour myself. I don't know. And I'm gonna bring myself over here and add this guy to the stage. I'm gonna mute him. because we don't need the feedback. Put them up that way. Bob Cigar Guy, welcome into the show.
Hey, everybody
How
out
are
there
you
in Radio
doing?
Land.
Jamie Vaughn, Bob Ellis, and Jay Bates, thanks for hitting the love button over on Facebook. If you are watching over on Facebook, please do let me know. And drop in, say something, share it to all your Facebook groups, and let other people jump in here and show up. We've not hit that 20 number yet. We've hit 19 twice, so we're just going to continue to see if we can pump those numbers up, baby. We had somebody hit the like button. Charles Adamson, thank you for hitting the like button over on Facebook. Bob Cigar Guy, what are you drinking? What are you smoking?
I am working on one of these Loco Coffee Churros and smoking a cigar that I love. I haven't smoked in a good while. The rum barrel aged Camacho.
Oh, I saw
This
that box.
was some of my favorite cigars. I forgot I had a box, and then when I moved all my stuff from one humidor to another, I pulled out. I'm like, dang!
Oh,
And
my
so
whole camera's off.
yeah, that's
You're
nice.
gonna mess up my camera again. See, that's what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You bozos come over here and take over my side. Hey, there's 20. 20. We have hit 18 shows.
But I'm lighting my cigar with this Plasencia Alma
De Cielo.
There we go. And this thing is amazing, right? And I just did that review of that cigar. It won't drop for till after Chief's done with all of his PCA reviews, but I got to tell you, that thing is
We are
something.
fully into day 2 now of PCA. We are on day 2 Sunday of PCA coverage.
Are we really?
Yeah, we started day 2 last week. Who did we start out PCA with on day 2? Darn it. I done gone through all the videos. I don't remember.
Gurkha?
I got so many. Yeah. Was it Gurkha day? No, that was day 1. I can go my camera rolling. I got all the shorts saved in there. I think I have all the shorts saved in here.
Hang on, I'll find it. Just give me a minute.
It was before Davidoff. What video is this over here? Oh, it was Nicaragua. It was Foundation Cigars. Many apologies for that video. Unfortunately, what had happened
was
we got there. We had a 9:15 a.m. appointment with Nicholas Malillo from Foundation Cigars. And so we took that 15 minutes to kind of gather our steps, gather our thoughts. Actually, that was the day that I had forgotten my badge. It's right here behind me. I had actually left our house without my badge accidentally, and there's a $150 reprint fee for your badge.
It still cost me $50 because finish telling your story.
Well, before I do that, I am lighting up the year of the Duque. And bring myself over here to full solo layout. See if it'll not focus on me and focus on the cigar. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. Come on, baby. Show the cigar. There it is. Boom. This is the year of the Duque. Your blue lights. Oh, you blue lighted the roof this week.
I always do.
No, usually you do down from below.
I do blue lights up top too.
So I'm doing the year of the Duque. Now I got to bring it back to my face.
And just to let y'all know that in the review I did of the year of the Duque, I said I wonder what the Japanese or what the Chinese writing on the band was. Probably Steve Saga saying buy more cigars or something like that, and just being funny about it. And my webcam so much. Steve Saka left a comment that said, no, it means year of the Duque. And he went into a deep dive into it's actually year of the Duke because it goes into the original. It goes into the.
Trying to get it on my face. Focus!
Wow. That was something. Look,
there we go.
That's what a hook sees last when a big mouth bass jump on that thing, doesn't it? Sure. But so we stopped AJ Fernandez, Natural Cigar, BLTC, West Tampa, Stolen Throne, Rabbit Air.
So AJ Fernandez is tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8.
AJ Fernandez is tomorrow.
Badge.
Huh?
Badge. You were talking about your badge.
Yeah. So, well, actually, before I get back to my badge, So it was funny when Sammy Flo popping in on the chat this week. Welcome in. Glad to have you back with us. He was on vacation last week, so we'll let it slide. So when Steve Saka released the teaser for it, he only released the Asian writing, the Chinese calligraphy on it, because he was like, nobody can read Chinese of everybody who follows me. And so what I and some others did was take a screenshot of it, zoom in, you can select the text and then copy it, and then go to Google Translate, and it says Year of the Duke, D-U-K-E.
Okay, so I'm having a panic attack right now. We have the Year of the Chief cutters, right?
Yes.
I gave the idea. I told them what I wanted. Chief gave me the idea. We put it all together, but
it basically,
I don't know what that says.
So it does not say Year of the Chief. It says Year of the Boss. Because Chinese,
so that's my cutter.
So Chinese doesn't have like an actual, apparently, allegedly, doesn't have like a direct translation to chief in the Chinese script. And so it's actually closer to jefe in Spanish, so like the boss. Right. But yeah, that's what it is. It's Year of the Chief, but it's actually more Year of the Boss than anything else. Okay, so going back to Robert Edward Dillinger says, boss cutter for the boss, baby. Sammy Flo says, it says Chief blows the budget. Shut up. Retired Rookie Cigars, first time here, can't stay long, but smoking an El Gloria Cubana Medio Tempo.
Welcome to the house.
And Evan Williams bottled and bond. Well, he said he can't stay long, but he's drinking, so don't be driving nowhere. Fireborn says, Chief, you did a great job on the Camacho interview video. The extras you added turned in an already fun interview into a real entertaining experience. Well, hopefully you got to see the Zeno Nicaragua video today, because it also...
Did Jack comment to you or reach out to you at all after the video?
I sent it to him, and I told him about it. He thought it was great.
He thought it was great?
Yeah. Let's see. Matt Brugger said he's finishing up a Wise Man Maduro. Nice. And then he's going to be moving on to an Undercrown 10 from Drew Estates. Gary Brooks says, if only Bob had a giant wine door to put all his cigars in.
Gary Brooks, let me borrow one of yours. Oh, wait.
Bob Ellis.
You keep coolers.
Bob Ellis says he's loving the PCA content. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gary Brooks says the PCA coverage is the best.
One of the best. Chief and I have always said that there is an individual who puts out amazing PCA content, just fantastic PCA content. And I reached out to that guy and I said, I showed him some of the videos and stuff. And he said, Chief has stepped up his game. He has come so far forward and he's very impressed with all the editing and everything else. He didn't say anything about the interviewer, but he was all over the editing and the putting together and the finishing touches. So, Chief, you got a big attaboy from somebody who knows what he's talking about. That's for sure.
He was actually in the group chat today talking about how he was happy to see that there was a cigar content review company out there that was doing something more than just the boring norm, and was attacking the industry with flair and pomp. That was, of course, Law Ream, formerly with Republic of Debauchery, who did put out the greatest PCA content the past few years. This year, obviously, he now works with Zeno Nicaragua under Davidoff. He was our interview today. So while he didn't get to shoot his own PCA content, he did get to show up in PCA content. Now, we were not the only ones to interview him, but I will say there's not a better Zeno Nicaragua interview out there. It's not a possibility.
I didn't even remember him with the hands. I remember the other guy with the hands. Who was that? Stolen Throne, right? And that's still coming. Stolen Throne did the whole thing. I did the hands because he was talking about it. I forgot Law did that. That was hilarious. I'm like, oh my god.
So yeah, how about the old Magic School Bus, Miss Frizzle?
And here's the funny thing, you say, and I know you mean it. You say that when you edit the videos, it's really the first time you've seen it because you're not listening to us talk. when I'm doing the interview, I'm not really listening to the interview. I'm forgetting what we just talked about because I'm lining up my next question or trying to bounce off the guy or give the guy or girl some space to do what they do. I'm really making sure I try to put out the best content possible. So I'm not paying attention to it. It sounds stupid to say that, but if you've ever been in a position where you're doing a live kind of thing like that, you can't focus on paying attention to it, or you'll get lost in the weeds, and it just will come off really bad. So I've enjoyed watching. I just miss saying Drew State. On to the next one.
My mental health has benefited not having to listen to that.
On to the next one.
Sam Flo says, so Chief, you go into a weird voice when you don't like someone's comments? No, I mean, I just read your comment with a normal voice and I don't like it. No, I play. Retired Rookie Cigar says, my former YouTube channel excelled in the boring norm. I mean, it's not really the boring norm. It's just, instead of the sit down, talk about stuff, I think the company that really excels well in providing a lot of color commentary in interviews is Cigar Dojo. Thank you, Bob Cigar Guy, for cutting me out there.
I wanted to show that we were in one accord.
Oh, thank you. You should do that thing where you do at PCA where you just stop talking and just let other people talk.
Well, on to the next one.
Smoke a special cigar thanks to Bob the Cigar Guy. 20-acre farm. Love smoking a cigar from his stash. Thanks, First Lady. Dan Perk says, how was the Rocky Patel booth, Chief? I'll have you guys know, and ladies. I reached out to Rocky Patel for an interview, and they never got back to me. I was full on willing.
Did you really?
I did. I was full on willing to. We did Gurkha. I was full on willing to do Rocky Patel this year. I've already said a couple weeks ago, that was probably been a month and a half or so ago, maybe 2 months, that I am going to be doing a dive back into Rocky Patel cigars to see if I still don't like them, because I have a founded bias against Rocky Patel cigars in the blends, right? But it's been a while since I've really tried any of their cigars, so my palate could have changed. I used to not really like Roma Craft cigars because they were just too much for me, but now I can't get enough Roma Craft cigars. So maybe, I go back and I just have to eat crow and say, you know what, these are actually pretty good cigars. I don't expect it, but what good is it for me to have a loud opinion about something if I'm not willing to back up my opinion, right? Sam Flo says, Bob, nice job last night.
Thank you. We went over by 40 minutes, and then once we went in the green room, they just got in the chair and took turns asking me questions and talking to me. I was on probably another 30, 45 minutes just hanging out. It was a neat group of fellers. The Cigar
Phil
Raj.
Moore, welcome to the show. Rocky Patel, the official flake of the Great Smoke. That was kind of funny. Did you see the stuff behind that?
No.
I guess I don't know the full story, but I think it was Rocky Patel was going to show up to the Great Smoke, and they ended up not. So Abe said he flaked out on him, and then he got like 500 of the little bitty mini frosted flake boxes, and then had a Rocky Patel sticker on the front of it.
That's funny.
Gave them to the Rocky Patel people, and they handed them out at the show.
Did he really?
Yeah. Mac Bergson, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Glad you are with us tonight. Robert Edward Dillinger, Sammy Flo, thank you for hitting the love button over on Facebook. Tyler Garcia, Ronald Smith, and Michael Zakovec, thank you for hitting the like button over on Facebook. If you haven't shared it, you're over there watching on Facebook, please do share it to your favorites. Favorite cigar groups.
There was a comment a little higher up that says, I missed that opening, talking about the opening.
That was Bob
I want to tell you, I know you don't comment to the comments on the videos. And I don't know if you even take time to look at them because you're busy doing all the editing and stuff. But there was one that somebody said that the intro that you've created this year is the best intro of any PCA coverage, bar none.
That we've done.
You did the intro. I mean, they're talking about putting it together and editing.
But what I'm saying is like not the best intro out of like all intros.
No. He made it sound like it was the best intro of PCA 2025. I'm telling you.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's not true. We're live on TikTok. I'm going to put that on my Instagram stories. We're not live on TikTok. Whoops.
What are you doing over there?
I'm making content. It's part of my job. I'm the only one who makes content. Okay.
Have you not seen
Let's see.
my thank you short video? It's got over 900 views on YouTube,
Nope.
1,000 views
Not gonna lie, it's been
on
years since I smoked a
Instagram.
cigar, but man, I miss y'all in the cigar family. Robert Edward Dillinger, we're glad to see you back. Hopefully you can get to smoking some good stuff. Retired Rookie Cigars, y'all need to come to my old Kentucky Herf, 27 brands, 14 principles, fire event. Ooh,
I heard that's a good event.
too much echo last night? I have heard.
That was crazy.
Oh, there's 31. That's right. We are now back to 4 weeks in a row of 30 plus concurrent viewers, and that takes us to now what? 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 2 more is 13.
Proud of you.
13 shows out of 18 shows this year that have hit the 30 plus concurrent viewership number. So we're having a great time with that. Thank you all so much. We did hit over 40 last week. We almost got to 50. So we do have a 40 counter going on. Let's see. Rocky Patel keeps flaking out when he says he's going to show up. Abe made like 150 mini cornflakes with that sticker. Mac Bergen says the Jack Hire video was amazing. I knew that you were going to enjoy that. I know that you have a huge affection for Jack Hire, so I knew that you would really enjoy the video. I almost sent it to you, but I was like, I know Mac Bergson's a really busy man. I don't want to bother him with anything. But thankfully, you actually watched the channel and you saw the video come up, and you got to enjoy a little bit of Jack Hireage on the YouTube. I will say so myself. That is one of my favorite interviews of all time. I love the Saka interviews. I love the Foundation interviews. I love the Aganorsa Leaf interviews. But there's just something special about Jack Hire. There is I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a euphoria or he's just a really good friend or whatever. Because I also feel the same about the Law interview, the Zeno interview today. Just 2 back-to-back great interviews. So I'm very, very, very happy that Davidoff was back this year. And the Avo and the Davidoff video, both of those videos were good as well.
It would have been great if Tom. I think if Tom would have been able to be interviewed too with Baccarat.
But obviously we have a working relationship with both of those guys in the past, and still very good friends with him. So I really enjoyed those again. Gary Brooks is back in his bag. Get out of it. It's too tight. Pneumonia. Yes, Bob. Taking Tim Swanson's advice and more content, and it is all good content. Keep up the great work, fellas. Mac Bergen says, I'm never too busy for a Jack Hire or Bob the Cigar Guy. Gary Brooks with the Malort. Now, that is an edit that will get some memeage whenever we do the Malort thing, because the past 2 videos have had like a commercial break during the middle of the video with the elevator music going. That's definitely going to have some extra work on it. Mac Bergen says, bring Jack on the show. I think we're going to be working on that here soon. So, again, and if you have not let me know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking this evening? Jay Bates, you have no excuse not to smoke tonight because you're not at work. I am smoking the Year of the Duque for the first time, and this is a really nice cigar.
Isn't it?
You're smoking a Camacho over there, Bob the Cigar Guy?
The rum barrel aged Camacho.
The rum barrel aged Camacho. Now, in the last week, Bob the Cigar Guy,
yes,
what has been give me 3 of your, because if I said 1, I think it would be too hard. If I said 2, it would be too easy. So 3, what are your top 3 moments in the last week of PCA comment uploadage? I want to know.
Of PCA comments?
Content.
Oh.
Videos that have gone up.
Laureen was it was like a, all right, it's real simple, to be honest. Saka, Hire, Ream.
Was Saka in the last week? No, Saka was not in the last week.
I watched it last week. So what was this whole week?
So this week has been all Davidoff, Avo, Camacho, Zeno. And then Saturday last week would have been Foundation cigars.
All right, then it would be Foundation, Law, and Jack, just because I would have loved to have had that moment, whether cameras were there or not. It felt like I was hanging out with my friends and we were allowing other people to kind of sit in on the moment. It was very organic. It was very real. It was very enjoyable. It was fantastic. The stuff that we did off camera was just as much fun as the stuff we did on camera, which I think it translates into the video as well. And it's funny. And Jack Heyer starting off, scaring me to death, going, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think I'm gonna do good. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out in my head how I'm gonna make sure he looks good and carry this thing. And then he shows up and he just takes off like a rocket. Law Ream was just before the video, we had to open up a case and there was a dead spider in the case, and he put the spider on my shoulder while I was holding up the case. And I couldn't remember if the spider was on my shoulder or not the whole dang video, which was hilarious. Nick Melillo is such a genuine and kind individual. Just watching him engage with everybody, including us and the people around us, is just really, really great. So those would be the three pieces of content. Now, I loved the Magic School Bus. I loved the whole Camacho, and I did not know that that's what the Powerpuff Girls had added to them. I don't think I've ever watched a Powerpuff Girl show. I now know that Gary Brooks is not only a brony, he is a Powerpuff Girl guy.
I did like his comment. So you did say earlier, Chief, I don't know if you've been watching the comments or anything like that. Yes, I do watch the comments, but most of the comments that I'm watching are on as I have it pulled the dashboard up on my computer. And so because I'm uploading through the Bob the Cigar Guy YouTube page on my computer, if I were to comment or respond back to any of these people, it would be through the Bob the Cigar Guy thing. Now, I also will go on my phone and watch the video because I want to give us that extra view. And some of the comments I have responded back to.
Yeah, you've done, and
myself.
you put one out for Foundation as well.
I will like comments. Yeah, I commented on the Foundation video just because I hated that the sound. I didn't get
which was bad, but it wasn't unbearable.
Okay. You didn't get to hear the original file.
No, I'm saying the finished product.
That was a lot of work to get it to that. That has probably been the most work I have had to put into something with fixing that sound, because you couldn't just do it across the board. There were I had to cut and crop and do things all across that video to lower noises or make noises higher or whatnot. Yeah, it was a lot of work. So to finish that thought, because I didn't finish that thought earlier, so we had a 8:15 or 9:15 interview. I had forgotten my badge at the house. We didn't want to just go reprint a new badge because literally on the back of the badge, I believe it says, reprint fee for a lost or misplaced badge is 150 bones. And I did not want the channel to have to pay for that. I didn't want our sponsors to have to pay for that. And so luckily my mom and her friend Tracy were in New Orleans with us. And so I called them and I was like, hey, do you see my badge anywhere? And my mom was like, yep, it's right here on the table. I said, is there any way that you could bring it to us? This is like 20 minutes before the show started. Our house was about 15 minutes away. So she got it there right before the show opened. Brian, Supremo Tobacco, never mind, because if PC ever watches this back, I don't want him to ever get in trouble. I got my badge before we walked in the door. We had to walk in the door. Bob was already like, let's just go reprint a badge. We'll just go pay it. And I was like, no.
Look, facts is facts.
Luckily,
if you got to do it, you got to do it. You just
the show opened for media at 9 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. This was Sunday. It was the first interview of Sunday Foundation. Luckily for me, Foundation booked out 15-minute slots during their media hour, and he booked us at 9:15 in the morning. So even if we had to wait a little bit longer, we would have had time. Bless you. So all that to say, we got in the door. But because of that, I had not set up my camera yet.
Yeah, you were scrambling.
In order to set up this camera for PCA, right? It's not just this camera. I've got to set up an arm that goes off the top of this that holds a screen, a monitor, so I can see a bigger monitor. I've got to have a big bracket that goes on the bottom of the camera that extends out and holds a battery so that I don't have to worry about using this tiny little bitty baby battery that comes in the bottom of the camera. I can actually use this bad boy right here as the battery for my camera. So we'll put baby battery on top and big battery on bottom. Obviously, you can see there is a huge difference in availability to have power. I also need that power to run the screen. But in order to put all that stuff on and do it in a nice, timely, neat manner, and then get it on the tripod, get the microphones plugged in, get the microphones on Bob, it takes about 10, 15 minutes to get it all done right, because you've got to clean your lenses, you've got to clean your screen, you got to make sure everything's plugged in right, you got to make sure everything's all this stuff.
Right.
So what I did was I plugged in this little monitor box, which is what captures all of the sound on Chief Talk. It also captures all of the sound anytime that I record anything with my camera. And it wirelessly connects to these. I have one. Bob the Cigar Guy has one right now. That's why his little thing says muted next to his name every week, is because if I unmute his camera, you get a lot of feedback, because it's two microphones that are catching the sound instead of one microphone or one microphone source. We have two microphones on one microphone source. So Bob the Cigar Guy has a mic. I have a mic. So it's also the same for our PCA coverage as well. Usually what happens is, if you saw the Law Zeno interview today, it was wildly shown. Bob has his microphone on, slid in his where the buttons are on his shirt. We hand a microphone handle, right? We have two microphones. So this slides in to the microphone handle. And then I put this little thingy doodad on top for the pop filter and all that stuff. And then we hand this, we give them the option usually to, do you want to hold? This is exactly what I say every time before we start. I said, I have a microphone here for you. Would you like to wear it, or would you like to hold it? Sometimes they want to hold it. Sometimes they want to wear it. Usually with ladies,
you hand it to them and you let them do their own
the
thing.
Microphone.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have anybody ever snap a picture and I'm reaching up to into the shirt of somebody. I'm sure that the sound for me just sounded fantastic because I was waving this microphone all around. And so what had happened with the foundation video was, I told Bob, I was like, screw it. I don't have time to mic you up, which I did. I was just freaking out. I don't have time to ask Nick Melillo if he wants to do the back and forth. We'll just put the microphone on the handle, and then we'll set the handle in between the two of you, and then you guys, as you're talking to each other, the sound will converge over the microphone. Well, I handed the microphone to Bob, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it went down.
We set it on a box, but then Nick Melillo moved the box it was sitting on, and I don't know where he put it.
But it got moved, and it did not capture sound. It is the only, hopefully, it is the only video of PCA coverage that ends up sounding like that at all.
And I will tell you, it is a big, I mean, it's a media production. Chief's got to do all these things. It does take 10, 15 minutes. I'm also a media person. And so I have 3 lenses on my camera right here. And then I have an external battery that I left at home that I didn't need because there's already a battery in here. And then I have to have my viewer attached to it right here and all this other stuff. So, you know, I mean, the struggle is real. Now, when I do use this to shoot my videos. That's why Chief's videos looks a whole lot better than mine does.
Oh,
absolutely.
There's a time and a place for all of it, right? In here in the studio, that's not a bad option because you have an iPhone 15 Pro model. So
and I use the same microphones you use. I hook it in to the bottom down here, and it gives that audio. That was one of the big things Chief told me. He says, look, people can tolerate a bad picture. They can't tolerate bad audio. Law Ream told us the same thing. And so we upped my audio ability, and we're changing the lighting and stuff like that. So Steven has wanted me to get a real camera and shoot from a real camera, or just use a real camera. And I just keep dragging my feet on it because I'm worried about the extra steps it's going to take and the tech I'm going to have to know to be able to do it. Because this I've got down pat, right? I know.
I'll try Ricky Cigar says, my wife says I can't multitask, but I'm smoking a cigar, drinking bourbon, talking to tourists, and listening to Chief. Look at that. You're all over the place. Fireborn says, I'm guessing you just don't multitask, but she wants you to do. Ricky. Textor says, my wife is still mad at me about not taking out the trash 15 years ago. Dan Cruz, welcome into the show. How are you doing this evening? What are you smoking? What are you drinking? I do want to know. Retired Rick says, I can multitask. I just don't listen well. I'm there too. There's a lot of coming out of me. I'm the worst listener, but she tries to talk to me when I'm concentrating on something else. Isn't that the worst? This is turning into a Dr. Phil session in the comments. Matt Cave says, I love hearing the techie stuff. If you ever need a camera caddy,
We've gotten some offers for sure. We got one last Thursday at a lounge. But I will tell you this, because 2 of the 3 Musketeers or the 3 Stooges are in the thing. Mac Bergson and Sammy Flo. Jay Bates is off somewhere, probably raking and burning leaves. First Lady, I gave them $50 to go buy breakfast. So they did not have to run down and put themselves out by having to divert from their plans. So we did take care of them. Chief and I took care of. I didn't do it. We decided to do that to help them.
So yeah, that was why the audio had issues for the Nick Malillo side. I'm sure if I understood more of the audio engineering through our software, I probably could have made it better.
But you haven't had to.
I haven't had to yet. I mean, I have in every single video, the audio is manipulated in some form or fashion.
There's Jay Bates.
No,
Matt Bergson. Chief does not owe $50 to the channel. Gosh, troublemaker. Steven, what are your 3 favorite things about the PCA content this last week?
So I will say this year has been a really good year for the most part for me when it comes to the PCA content. So a couple things. One, the more we do this, the better we get, right? The better Bob the Cigar Guy gets with his intro, the better Bob the Cigar Guy gets during his interview time, the better Bob the Cigar Guy gets with his moods during PCA.
No, we have to give that to Brian from Supremo Tobacco, because he was
also, it was kind
animal.
of funny during the Adventura video. I highlighted the moment where Henderson Ventura puts another sticker on Bob the Cigar Guy. It is now a 3-year running gimmick with those 2 hooligans.
I hope it never stops.
And so I hope not either. But one of the things that's really neat is I have kept all of our footage from all of our content starting from our first PCA. So PCA, Barn Smoker, all that stuff, it all goes on to one of 2 external hard drives. Come on, unzip. So I have 2 1 terabyte external hard drives here. Chief, how do you keep them apart? One's got a Ratzilla sticker on it, the other one does not. They're also named when you plug them in the computer. You can see the files, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so I was able to go back and grab all the content, for that video from the previous PCA videos that I had shot. And it's funny to see just how much the quality has improved from year to year to year now. And so also one of the things that's improved this year for me is I'm actually enjoying sitting back and watching the videos, because this year I decided that I was not going to pay attention to whatever those guys were really talking about during their interview. So I wasn't listening to Bob the Cigar Guy. I wasn't listening to, let's just take Aventura again. You had Henderson Ventura, you had Marcel Noble, and then we ended up having
Ronnie Haysha.
Well, Ronnie Haysha came in there, but also Marcel's wife, who runs Puffery. She ended up coming on the interview as well. And Nicole, for whatever reason, I was blanking on her name really hard. I don't listen to any of them. The only interviews that I listened to this year that I can think of were Saka, because that was a completely different type of interview. That might be the only interview that I got to sit down for.
He talked to you a lot,
Well, he did, because I think at one point Steve Saka forgot that the camera was running and it wasn't just a meeting, which is great. It works. It lends to the content. That's why we had a 52-minute video. But I do want to think that is the only video that I got to sit down for that we shot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Did you sit down in Aganorsa?
Nope. Which I did last year. I sat down for Aganorsa last year. But no, I did not sit down for Aganorsa this year. I think Saka was the only one that I actually got to sit down for. And some of the interviews this year actually had to stand, like all of the Davidoff, Avo, Zeno, Camacho videos. Those were all handheld. Also,
And Altadas.
Yeah, Altadis is going to be all handheld. There's a few that were handheld. I just can't remember. Gurkha was handheld.
Gurkha.
Drew Estate was handheld.
Good night, rookie.
That might be. Yeah, Ronnie video bombed that one, and he got edited into it. Also, the guy that interrupted us at the Saka interview, he got the freeze frame too.
Steve loves it when people jump in the middle of his videos.
So the one thing that frustrated me with that one was that guy literally saw us talking, looked at Steve, looked at me, and then said, "I'm sorry," and then just reaches into was like, "Dog, if you're sorry, just don't do it. Don't say I'm sorry and then do it. Do it and then say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Like Ronnie, he didn't realize what was going on. That guy was like, "I'm sorry," and then jumped in. And, "Oh, love from the Bahamas." Okay, you'll be underwater in 20 years. Joking.
Oh my goodness.
But so this year, because I did not pay attention to any of the content while it was really being shot, like the meat and potatoes of the content. I'm more worried about. I told myself this year I was going to try to make sure that we had no people walk into videos. Ronnie Hasha does it on day one. A guy does it in the middle of the video for Saka.
Well, he was probably under your eye line.
But then we didn't have it any more of the show because when I set up my tripod, and that's why I like to set up my tripod for a lot of these shots too. One, holding that hunk of a beast of a camera with all the stuff on it really starts to hurt the lower back, especially if you're standing still. If you're moving around, it's not so bad. But two, I wanted to have it on the tripod because I wanted to just bogart my tripod everywhere we went. You know, people start walking through, and I would put my case on one side and me on the other side so people see, oh, don't stand here. Also, having that new lens meant that I could put the tripod closer to the content, which people aren't trying to walk right up in front of. Like, if the camera and the tripod is pretty easy to see. So this year, I didn't really pay attention to the content. I just paid attention to, is the camera on? Is the microphone on? Is it recording? Is it on the tripod? Is it going to fall off? Is it in frame? Is it, how it should be? Does it look good? Does it look like I'm going to have to do a bunch of extra work, when it comes to the edit time? Because I really try to shoot things that I don't have to have much back end edit work as possible. So,
because you got a lot to do.
None of the videos I cropped in yet, except for when I make the shorts. Those ones I have to crop in because I have to turn a horizontal video into a vertical video without turning the video sideways. So it's been actually really nice to sit back and listen to all of the PCA videos this year because it's like I'm experiencing it for the first time. So I'm literally experiencing these videos about 24 to 48 hours before you guys get to experience them. So I'm enjoying watching them. Also, Bob the Cigar did a really great job this year with not having a lot of spots where I had to cut out ums or uhs or this or that. The heaviest edit out of taking stuff that people said out was Gurkha so far.
There's another one you're going to take a lot out of.
Oh, yeah. Guri.
Yeah.
That video might not make it to the light of day. I'm not sure. As we were shooting that one, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe. I think did I handheld that one too? I might have handheld that one. I don't know. That might have been a tripod. That was towards the end of the day of day 3. So let's get back to some of these comments over here. There have been a couple photo bombers in the ones that I've seen so far. Yeah, so far the only ones that were like actual like people in the middle of the shot was Ronnie Hayshow with Aventura, and then the guys from the Bahamas on the Saka video. Ryan Gallimore, who we're friends with, formerly of Drew Estate, now he owns his own cigar lounge. He was there as a purveyor. He shot me a little "What's up" as he was walking by during the soccer video, but to my knowledge, I don't think we really have any bombers in there.
I wish we had more.
Gary Brooks says some people lack situational awareness. It is crazy. Last year, we had a dude in one of the videos. No, it was the first year because it was with ATL cigars. No, yeah, it was ATL cigars. And you were sitting down with the guy, and this dude literally just walks up, stands, and is just listening to you guys talk. I had to like yank him on his shirt and then cut the whole bit of it out where the guy ends up coming up. So there are some people who just don't. They're so focused on what they're trying to do, they don't realize there's a camera.
All right, so I have a question for you from a comment, and if you don't know the answer, I don't blame you because this is an old video. But Dan Cruz said, I found this channel from the Zycar case video. Here's my question. In the Zycar case video, I portrayed a character in that video, and he had a name. Do you know his name?
I do.
You do?
Me?
I'm asking you.
Bobby Tsunami.
Bobby Tsunami. I didn't think you'd remember Bobby Tsunami.
Says, if you don't look at your phone or read any of my other comments, I'll comment it again, dingus.
You do change your voice when you don't like comments.
Then instead of putting it in the same comment, he goes down here to put another comment that took him a whole other minute to write, by the way. Smoking an H&N Toro, having a Yellowstone Old Fashioned. I saw your comment. I saw your text message. You could have just put it in the comments the last time, but no, you got to have the whole drama show. Sorry, Jay Bates, I didn't give you 5 seconds of fame. Speaking of 5 seconds of fame, I'm introducing a brand new weekly. You're going to enjoy this, Bump Cigar Guy. This is the Stick Pick of the Week. This week's Stick Pick of the Week. Gary Brooks. Over on Discord, we have a channel dedicated to showing off your sticks that you're smoking. A lot of us are over there. We post multiple times a day the cigars that we're smoking, the drinks that we're drinking. All of the videos get sent over there on Discord as well. And I decided that I wanted to do a brand new segment called the Stick Pick of the Week.
I like it.
So every week in between Chief Talk, so starting tonight as soon as actually starting now, before next week's Chief Talk, I will choose one photo that I think, either it's just a super rare, awesome cigar, or it's an actual really nice photo that somebody's done and composed and put together. Or maybe I just thought that it was, the best photo of the lot. They were all crappy photos, but that was the best one. Now, Gary Brooks,
or if they paid you?
Huh?
If they bribed you or paid you?
Nobody's bribed me for any of these, but this is the first week. This is the inaugural Stick Pick of the Week. This is the Aganorsa Leaf. This is actually Fabian's favorite cigar. But I thought, you know what? It's kind of nice because the blue band, the silver label with the blue pool, and how the sun is going down slightly in the background. So, if you want to be featured on Stick Pick of the Week, post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick. This has been Chief Talk's Stick Pick of the Week.
I like that.
Picture
I like that.
The week.
Now, I watched a short part of a podcast. It was a show like this, basically, not like Chief Talk, but it was one of those kind of live shows. And there were 3 fellers on, and one was a cigar manufacturer, and he was from somewhere over in Europe. And when I clicked on, he was in this tirade of how dare somebody call a cigar a stick. And he just went off on it. Talked about if you were, yes, if you were in a restaurant,
manufacturer?
Yes. It says if you were in a restaurant and you needed to get somebody's attention, instead of saying, excuse me, you say, hey, you, come on over here. He goes, that's the difference. You're disrespecting the whole industry. You're disrespecting the craftsmanship. You're disrespecting this. And I started to type. I typed, both fingers were going fast. And then I had to pull it all back off because it was not very kind, saying, really, can you find something worth fighting on?
It's a little egregious.
I agree. It was a little bit.
I think when it comes to being in the cigar community, like, I don't know, it's such a colloquial term in the cigar community that it just goes hand in hand. I don't think it's derogatory or demeaning.
It looks like a stick.
And it's rolled up leaves. What do leaves
come
grow
on,
out of? You know, for the
trees.
most part, a stem, right? A stick. Actually, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted is over here. I'm going to get the Discord link. I'm coming over here. Sorry, I have a comment up. I'm trying to get the link to the Discord to put into.
Jay's comment is Jay Bates. Jay Bates' comment, who's smoking an H99 and drinking an old fashioned. Jay Bates says, I like this. That's dope, Chief, with a thumbs up. Always giving the care and the love, no matter how he's treated by the people in the show. That's what I'm talking about. Gary Brooks said, that's like people getting upset about saying juice for bourbon. That's silly. Fireborn says, I respect every stick by smoking it to a nub. Gary Brooks says, some people don't even like stogie. Jay Bates says, it's 2025. People are way too sensitive. I don't disagree with you at all.
That is the Discord link for who was asking for it. Fireborn says, I have Discord. How do I find you, Chief? Under Sugar Report, Chief, or so I just went ahead and put the I got a Discord notification. Oh, photo stickers with the sensitivity.
Every time I've been on Discord, I've enjoyed it 100%.
You've been on Discord once. We do have a Bob the Cigar Guy bot that posts for you.
You're kidding?
Gary Brooks actually set it up. Every time a video gets posted to the channel, it automatically sends to the channel. So anytime a video goes up or a short goes up, it goes over there.
That's funny.
It also includes live.
That's funny.
So Gary Brooks set that up for us. Let's see. I thought I could pin the comment.
Gary just said, I keep tagging Bob. Fireborn says, my own sensitivity offends me. That's funny.
It is a great stick to pick. It's a great photo. Thank you, Gary Brooks, for sharing us your smokes again. There's no real rhyme or reason to the photo. The better the photo you take, the better off, it's going to have a chance to get it in there. I will never select my own photo in the Discord. So don't worry. You guys are not going to have to worry about competing with the A7 IV and Lightroom as an editing software. But I think if you have a full frame mirrorless camera or mirrored camera in Lightroom and you want to break out some props and put a shot together and edit it and put it on the Discord, I highly, highly, highly welcome it. If you want to shoot on your iPhone or your Galaxy or your tablet or whatever it be, Polaroid, scan it in, put it on, your credit works. I will try. If you post a picture on the Discord and you don't want it put, like if your face is on it or somebody else's face on it, I'm probably not going to put it. But if you're somebody that I know who I'm like, oh, that's actually a dope photo with your face, and I might message you and say, hey, is this okay if I choose this as the stick pick of the week? This is all brand new. So
now, if Jay Bates decides to try to twist the algorithm and do a shirtless picture with a cleavage picture of him and the cigar, that's not going to count, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to. If you choose to do that over on Discord, that's your own thing. As long as it's not wildly inappropriate or something like that, it won't get deleted. We've had to delete some stuff off of Discord before.
Have you really?
We have. Some of it was hacked accounts. Some of it was just somebody who found the Discord and had a way of posing photos with their significant others in it. And I was like, don't know if I really want to go with that. But all of the photos that get selected for stick pick of the week, they're going to be photos that I deem have some sort of quality in it that I think is worthy of being the best stick of the week. If we have multiple stick picks of the week, I'm just gonna have to make a different graphic that shows 2 stacks of photos and whatever. I took like 30 minutes to do this on Photoshop earlier before the show started, but I had this idea about doing this stick pick of the week because I was watching. I sometimes tune in to Tim with Cigars Daily, and they do picks of the week, and they're obviously running their promo right now with the jacket packet, and they're showing pictures of the jacket packet. And I thought, that's really cool, but what can I name it? And I thought, stick pick of the week, stick a pick of the week. Oh, stick pick. That's kind of fun because it's 2 picks but spelled differently.
So you're going to save all these for the whole year and then put everybody who got a pick in the randomizer, and then you're going to give them a prize at the end of the year?
That's actually not a bad idea.
That is a good idea.
That's not a bad idea.
And just do a randomizer so you're not picking one over the other.
As you can see, right? As you can see, it shows the photo, it shows the name, it says Gary Brooks on there, it shows the. Now I'm not going to change this up where it says week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, but I can save these files under a thing on my computer where I do this every week. And you know what? At the end of the year, we will go back and we will find the best photo of the year. The stick pick of the year will get something. So get to making photos. The better the photos, the harder the competition, the better the prize probably end up being. But that's all brand new. We just thought that up. So
you thought it up. That's all you. You did a good job.
Gary
to bring
says,
value
new
added.
picks popping up right now, and they are official. Now, I will say, if Gary Brooks is posting the best photo every single week, I have no problem choosing Gary Brooks again next week. So, if you're happy with just posting, the photos that I post up there are usually just like snaps of me holding the cigar, smoking the cigar. There's nothing going on. Again, I'm not going to pick myself. But if you get on there and, it's only a bunch of photos that are like that, I might just pick my favorite cigar out of that. It doesn't have to be super classy, awesome. Again, you don't have to break out a mirrorless camera. You don't have to break out editing software and whatnot. But if you just compose a really cool photo that I think works, hey, that's the shot that I'm going with.
What if they use AI?
If it's obvious, I will not choose it. And I got a pretty good AI nose. The more genuine the photo looks, the more credit it's going to get. Bob Ellis says, I won't post my beach pics with me holding all my sticks in my Speedo. You could fit all your sticks in there. It must be a lot of room. Dan Burns says, you probably already said, but what is your Discord name so I can look it up? If you go up in the comments, Dan Burns, there is, it's not too far. It was about 3 scrolls from your comment, so it's not too far up in there, but that is the Discord share link to the Chief Talk Discord. Let's see. You get a brand new car. Yeah, Hot Wheels, $1.99 from Walmart. Watch it with words that rhyme with stick and pick. Oh, Lord, don't get me started on the platypus rhyme.
Oh, my.
Stokey Sister says, time for playoff hockey. Got to go. Thanks, fam. Hey, I hope your team wins. Prize is a year of the Boss Cutter. Ooh. I'll have to rewatch the show. My wife has been talking to me most of the time. Well, we love Diana. We love.
It's their anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary. Dan Burns is our anniversary night, so she's getting the majority of my attention. Happy anniversary. That's awesome. Congratulations. Cigar Pop says, I do pics like that on IG and Facebook daily. Dope. Put them on our Discord. That's where they're going to be chosen from. Do you get bonus points if you use BTCG branded gear? Bonus points? No. But if you put the branded gear in there and it's in a nice, orderly fashion, and it's nice to look at in a sense, it's a good chance that it'll get picked. But no, if you have a bunch of BTCG or Chief gear, it's not going to, because if that was the case, people would just put a bunch of Chief gear in there and, stroke my ego, and, we'd have nothing but Chief pictures. Dan Cruz says, I might not join the Discord due to the potential of Speedo pics. Bob Ellis is definitely not putting Speedo pics in there. I'm unless they're like the board short Speedos that are like normal Speedos. We honestly have a great culture over there. We've got a handful and a half of consistent members over there that are posting daily their cigars and just talking. We've got a whole bunch of channels. It is popping off on the Discord. I'm not sure if you guys can hear all the Discord notifications, but it is popping off over there right now. Fireborn says, already joined the Discord. More cigar stuff. Even a gun show channel now. Yes, we have the Gary Brooks put up a fitness channel on there. So if you're working out, if you're getting your fitness on, and you want to talk about your fitness updates, we're there to encourage each other and share tips and tricks. I also took a nice picture of these guns over here. Cigar Pop says, I put one up just a few minutes ago. Oh, Miss Diana Burns, happy anniversary. I have an idea to do a forced perspective shot that makes it look like one of my koi is smoking the cigar. Ooh. I will say, if you guys start getting super creative over there, we might have to do like multiple picks, and then we pick on the show who has the best pick.
This is really taking off.
It is taking off. I need to sponsor this segment.
God.
Again, what we're talking about, if you just joined the show, is the stick pick of the week.
Brought to you by Enter your
Bob
name
Cigar
here.
Guy.
Enter your name here.
Bob Cigar Guy, pay me out of your pocket. So this is what we're going with right now. Currently, it's Gary Brooks, week 1, and I will post this photo. I have a Photoshop file, so all I got to do is go on, open up this file, delete Gary's photo, put another photo in, so it's not a lot of work going forward. If we continue under this same format, but this photo was posted on the Discord to announce, hey, Gary Brooks, you won this week's stick pick of the week. So I will do that going forward. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera because you guys can't see me.
So right now, Gary's 100% chance of winning this year's prize.
Yeah, Gary's hoping that we have no more Chief Talks this year. Oh, let's come back over here. The pick of Chief is beefcake, or as Supremo Tobacco has coined, Chief Cake. Get creative, go crazy. Absolutely. And obviously, like, I'm looking forward to all new people coming and hanging out on the Discord. It's a fun way for us to interact throughout the week when we don't have Chief Talk, or if you're not interacting much on the comments during the video, because we have hundreds of views on the videos, right? But we only have a few comments down in the bottom. Unfortunately, the YouTube situation with the comments is really weird right now. I don't know why it takes in privates the video to comments.
It is kind of funny that the editor-in-chief will message me and say, can you turn the comments on, please?
You've got to do some work.
Can you turn the comments on, please? I'm just saving all these up for when I say, Steven, help me with this.
It's new. Gary Brooks added it on Monday night, I think it was. Monday night or Tuesday. It's brand new. J-Bait says, you could do a top 3 stick pick of the week. Hey, if, like I said, right now, this week, there were a lot of photos that have happened in the past week, but there was one photo that was like, actually, that's a really nice photo. I liked it. That's why Gary Brooks won this week's stick pick of the week with that Aganorsa leaf with the nice pool in the background and the sun going down, cascading down. Just a nice composed photo, in my opinion. You got nice manicured fingernails as well. So, like I said earlier, if we start getting more photos that are hard for me to decide between, we might have to do a sticks picks of the week, and then we vote on it here on the channel. Never been to Discord. Discord's a lot of fun if you have the time for it. If not, it's just another thing to send you notifications. But it's a really fun way to create bonds within the community. So it's kind of like a version of a Facebook or Instagram or whatnot, in the sense of it is a virtual community hangout. So it's a virtual HERF all the time. And sometimes we do get on there. I have a video channel on there where we'll sit and smoke on the chat, which we haven't done that in a long time. That really started during COVID. But for the most part, it's just people, sharing their pictures over there, and you have a chance to react or talk about the cigar. Gary Brooks has been posting some cigars. I've actually smoked a lot of cigars this week. I'm averaging like 3 a day. I'm trying. Yeah. The weather's been too good.
That's a lot for you.
The weather's been too good. I have been trying to smoke my PCA smokes. I've smoked a couple cigars in between PCA and now that are cigars that I've smoked previous to PCA, but I'm really trying to go through the PCA smokes so that I can have a full-on opinion of sticks at the end of the year when I do my top.
Have you found some cigars that really look like they may make your list?
Oh, Furtonga's definitely up there. Furtonga's up there. Who else? Well, I haven't re-smoked it yet, but I know the Camacho Triple Maduro is going to be up there because I smoked that at PCA. Well, at the Camacho after party. I did re-smoke the Camacho Broadleaf yesterday, and that's a really good cigar. Today I smoked the Macanudo Emissary France. Not a bad cigar. Not as good as the Emissary España. And because this year, even though that was released last year, I smoked it this year. And the Emissary España will definitely make it on my list this year. I have not smoked it since PCA, but I smoked it at PCA, and it's going to make the list at the moment because I do have a lot of cigars to smoke. Is the Pausania San Andreas. That cigar is going to make the list for sure this year. I wanted to sit down and smoke the Avo Synchro 10-year anniversario, but I have not. I've been blind grabbing. I've just been reaching down in the bag and grabbing out the cigars. And if it's the cigar that I smoked before, I put it back down and I grab another cigar. So I have not yet grabbed the Alma de Cielo, which I'm looking forward to smoking from Plasencia. I think I've got a cigar from Davidoff. But some of my cigars are also here at the studio. I have a bag full of cigars at my house, and then I have this whole entire Plasencia bag full of cigars as well. Yes, I have found a few nice little beauties in there. Today I smoked the Emissary France. That was the first time that I smoked that. I enjoyed that. There are a lot of comments popping off over there. But also, we talk about the sticks that we're smoking. Sometimes the stick will get smoked and it's like, oh, I've never seen a stick before. What is that? Tell me what you're smoking. Sometimes some people post some sticks like Gary Brooks posted a stick of the Archetype cigar, and he was like, I wonder if this cigar's gotten any better. And I said, there's no way it could have gotten worse. And then he sent a picture of it half burnt in the ashtray, not smoked the rest of it. So we can talk about a lot of stuff. Gary Brooks got the Beatbox sampler from Black Label Trading, and he's smoking through that. It's really fun to see him go through those. Bob Ellis just posted the Purple Los Stados Deluxe last year's event. What else? Another cigar that I actually really enjoyed too this year so far was the Knuckle Sandwich Puro. I liked that. Let's see. Unfortunately, lots of mine will be with the same from the hot tub. Hey, that means everybody else is going to be happy to hear that. Jim says, I'm going to have to check out the Discord now. Absolutely. Jim says bands are always a plus. Yes, I will say I am a stickler for bands. If you post a cigar that doesn't have a band, it's definitely getting docked a creativity point, in my opinion. Now, if it's a creative way of putting it on the band, like you're taking the band off and you've got the cigar resting on the band, hey, awesome. Is it fair to repost an old pic that was special? Yes. Between now and next Thursday, any photo goes. And I see I got a lot of notifications going on over there, so I'm going to have my work cut out for me for next week. Let's see. Jeremy Finch says, what is your Discord called? I might have missed it.
Gary already answered it.
Oh, did he put a link in there?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. He didn't put the, he just called it he put the name of it, Cigar, or Chief Talk Cigar Club. Bob Ellis says, I had an Emissary in my humidor, never caught my attention until Chief mentioned it. Good stick. The España. Liz has a shower Saturday, so I may need to take a shot of me smoking that 10x100 lunatic. Dan Cruz says, don't call sticks. Just couldn't. I'm trying to go back. I'm also keeping a lot of my photos over on there of cigars that I smoked so that I can also remember. These are the cigars that I smoked throughout the year. One cigar that I was let down by was the I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the Blackbird cigars that I got. It was a Corojo. It has a Spanish name to it. Was not a fan of that cigar at all. I had the new CAO. That was good.
It is a good cigar.
That was a pretty good cigar, if I do say so myself. I had the 15th anniversary from Room 101. Pretty good cigar. Don't know if it might make the top 20. It's not going to make the top 10. There's no way. Good cigar. Not a terrible cigar.
That's the Pinky Peach Man?
Yes. No, it's yellow and pink. 15th anniversary. 13th anniversary is Pinky peach. Also smoked the Punch Year of the Snake. Not a very memorable stick. Had an Aganorsa leaf, a rare leaf reserve. I think it was the Corojo. Pretty good. But I do believe I've smoked that cigar before. A cigar that I smoked pre-PCA, but it is a PCA release, and a cigar that will most likely make my list this year is the Solita Red from Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. And I think that's pretty much caught up with most of the photos that I posted over on Discord in the last week. So as you guys are seeing over there, there's a lot of photos. Awesome. Love to see all the content going up over there. And welcome to the channel. Welcome to
Good
the
job,
Discord.
Chief.
But yeah, I am. I'm trying to. While the weather's been good, I think the weather's supposed to turn for the worse this weekend, with rain coming in. So my cigar smoking may go down. I've got some shots that I plan on shooting here at the studio before I leave tonight. So
You've got a mini marathon Saturday, don't you?
Yeah, I got to run a 5K on Saturday.
Not me.
Hold on. All right, let's see. Just got 2 of the Alma de Cielos. Can't wait to smoke them. Room 101 15th was good. It was good. Question for Bob and Chief: what other hobbies are you into other than cigars, if any? So I am really big into photography right now. I'm really enjoying photography and videography. I run a Sony camera, and I'm really enjoying the creativity that it allots me. It doesn't take up a whole bunch of space. It takes up space, but it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space, and it allows me, in my little bit of space that I do have, to get creative, to itch that little creative juice itch that I get from time to time. I've also got 3 kids and a wife, and so they're a lot of my hobbies as well. But outside of that, like I love working out. I work out every week, and getting big and strong for the Highland Games at the end of this month. It's now this month. Today's May 1st. Oh, it's in sync. It's gonna be May. So at the end of this month is the Highland Games. Looking forward to that. So I've been training for that. That's a big hobby of mine. I got a lot of hobbies, but those are the ones that I primarily focus on right now. Bob Cigar Guy, what hobbies do you have?
I am a creative individual. I cannot take great pictures, but you'll catch me.
He puts the fartsy and artsy fartsy.
I do. You'll catch me doing blacksmith work. You'll catch me doing building things. You'll catch me doing welding things. You'll catch me working on the lathe. You'll catch me using wood tools to build cabinetry kind of stuff. I also make coin rings, home remodeling, all sorts of stuff like that. So I do a lot of that, but I spend a lot of time in here shooting videos. So
Sony camera's dope. I'm very biased to the Sony camera system. There's every camera system out there has something better than the others, and then they have a lot of things that other cameras beat them at. I also got started on Sony because that was the first brand that was pitched to me when we were actually buying a camera for the channel. Since then, I have retired the channel's camera and bought my own camera, bigger, better camera for myself, because I actually do work and get paid through my media creation. So I wanted to have something that could allow me better resolution, higher resolution, more modularity, whatnot. But I also get to use that camera for the channel because it's like paying the channel back, because I got to start off my creative journey making money with the cameras or the channel's camera. So while this camera is mine, the channel has full use to it. Obviously, not Bob Cigar Guy. Not Bob Cigar Guy. I'm not letting Bob Cigar Guy use my camera.
I can't borrow your camera?
No. Making poor decisions. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Good to see you last week. Sounds like ADHD at its finest. Yes, the both of us. A little bit of autism sprinkled in there too. Bob collects big tools from the flea market.
Facts.
Gary Brooks says, I have a Pentax camera, but going to switch to Sony. Yeah, buddy. Photostate Pro says Sony Bros. That's my Lumix boy over there. Photostate Pros and Supreme Tobacco are both Lumix boys. The Lumix boys are they're died off in the club. We had a Lumix guys come to the Sony dark side a couple months ago. Joel is now a Drew Estates content creator, is a Sony bro. So just putting it out there. Sony's on the move up. So actually, Sony's really good for video content, and so it's good for both, but it's really good for video content. And obviously, Joel does a lot of video content with Drew Estate, so it was worth the. Oh, it won't be long. It won't be long. Now, all of JC Newman's content is shot by Photostate Pros on a Lumix. So if you like JC Newman's content, it's shot by a Lumix. Like 99.9% of it, because sometimes they post other stuff. But most of it's my boy Photos with the camera. Also, Stolen Throne. And Gellis cigars. There's probably some more out there. That boy is working his booty off. Dan Burns, thank you for hanging out with us this evening. I really appreciate you coming in, spending some time with us. Happy anniversary to you and your lovely bride, Miss Diana. Matt Berger says, had to head out or have to head in the house. Have a great night and see you all next week. Matt Berger, thanks for hanging out with us this week. I really appreciate that. Jay Bates says he's smoking a Mi Querida Blue. Ooh.
Nice.
Gary Brooks says, I've had 2 Lumix die on me. Uh-oh. Yeah. There were, of all of the Dead Leaf Breakfast Club boys who shot content over the PCA trade show, only one of us had files corrupted. Photo stickers. So, Sony boys did not have that problem. But I got to knock on wood because I don't need that coming back to bite me in my booty. Actually, I don't think it was a Lumix problem. I think it was just a file corruption problem on the card. Enjoy your dinner, Dan Burns. Eat something nice and meaty, and have a good time. Appreciate you guys. Sandisk. It was Sandisk. Yeah, blame Sandisk. Sandisk. You know, it's needs to go. And I will support you in that. So, but it does help my Sony Bro case. Because I think Sony's the most used brand within the club. I think there's 4 or 5 of us, 6 of us who use Sony. So, you all right over there, Bob the Cigar Guy? What do you want to talk about?
No, I'm just letting you go because every time I try to talk, you jumped over top of me. You are full of vinegar tonight.
Well, here,
so I'm
this comment from
I'm just
Jeremy
letting you roll,
Fincher.
buddy.
Jeremy Fincher asks, Bob the Cigar Guy, what are your thoughts on dry boxing? I'm doing a test, and I think I might be a believer.
I am.
What is dry boxing first, Bob Cigar?
All right, so dry boxing depends on how you define it. You can take a cigar out of your humidor, and then you put it in a cigar box, and you just allow some of the humidity to wick off of it so that when you go to smoke it, it's a little more dry. All right, that doesn't make a lot of sense to everybody all the time, except to me in the wintertime. I will dry box in the winter, and I do it a little differently than most people do. Most people put it in a box and just let it come to ambient humidity. But what I'll do is I'll take my cigar and I'll sit it outside for a couple hours before I smoke it if I'm going to smoke outside, so that it doesn't get shocked by the temperature and by the reduction of humidity, because the lower the temperature, the less humidity you can possibly have. So when you get out in real cold temperatures, your humidity drops out. And so you get a Connecticut shade cigar and you take it outside at 70 degrees, 70% humidity. You take it outside in 0 humidity and 25 degrees, 30 degrees, and you light it up and that wrapper can't stretch and it busts. It makes it really hard to get a great smoking experience. So I do dry box in the wintertime, but we're in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. The humidity is 70% most of the time anyway, so it really doesn't seem like it needs to be done. Now, some people will say dry boxing changes the flavor. I do know if you over-humidify or under-humidify a cigar, you will have a little difference in flavor, but to be honest, my palate does not really get that finicky where it worries about the little subtle nuances of those cigars. If I had nothing but $300 cigars and boxes of pre-embargo Cubans, maybe I would do it a little differently. But with today's cigars and the way the manufacturers do it, it doesn't seem to be that big of a difference to me for flavor, just for the way it handles in the wintertime. Back to you, Chief.
Very, very well put. Before we go any farther, I do want to drop back here into my chaise lounge here, cut the light on. I want to make sure that we all remember that this wonderful production everybody calls Chief Talk here at the Bob Cigar Guy YouTube channel on Thursday nights at 15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is brought to you by the lovely fine folks over at Drew Estate Cigar and newly added to the bunch, Natura Cigar, making sure that we have Chief Talk available for you guys. Check them out. Look them up for your look them up and see if you can find them near you. Back to me. Sorry, gotta make sure I stay.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you don't say the wrong thing. Then all of a sudden you get in a whole bunch of trouble. Oh, he said a bad thing. Somebody's gonna go find a cigar. Oh my goodness, the world's coming to an end.
Oops.
Lane, you said that, and you're talking about getting those cigars. I was on a podcast last night, and it was it was in the green room, and they were asking me about some of the newer cigars I've smoked, and I talked about Natura cigars, and I told them about it, and they asked me, where can they find it? And I don't have much information on it. I've had a number of people ask me, where can they get those cigars? And so I will tell you, it's hard to find it, but it's worth hunting for.
What we will do is this. Here soon, we will have to shoot a video of Natura cigars. And we will have to make sure we phrase things in certain ways that we can lead them to our website, which is the only link in every Chief Talk description, ChevetteReport.com. And that website link will have an informative allowance of how you can find that wonderful company. So we'll have to make sure that we have that ability. Hey, somebody says, how can we find them? Well, you know what? If you actually go to ChevetteReport.com and look up Natura Cigar on there, on one of those links, it'll say, hey, check out Natura Cigar. So Gary Brooks says, Night, I'll remember that get those pics on Discord.
I tell you what, you need to do more videos and editing on the daily because your brain is running on all cylinders. I mean, you're coming up with the stick picks and you're coming up with the whole thing, the Natura cigars.
Stick picks, pick of the week.
I mean,
Gary Brooks was the winner this week.
You're killing it. You need to edit videos every day.
Yeah. Colorado is so dry. I do several quick draws through the cigar before I light it.
Interesting.
Gary Brooks says that he does the quick swipe under the tap method if it's super dry outside. Bob Ellis says, I've been looking for Natura so I can do a little bit to support the channel. I haven't found any yet. Well, that's a good problem and a bad problem. Good problem because you can start saying, hey, we need to find more of these things. Obviously, we love that you guys support, and ladies, support who supports us. Obviously, it's nice to give back to obviously they sponsor us for a reason, right? They want their name out there. We're going to put their name out there every single week of 2025 when we have a show, because we don't always have a show. Sometimes it's a holiday or we're traveling or whatever it be. But now that they're a Chief Talk sponsor, they're going to get a little bit of limelight every single week alongside Drew Estate Cigar. They both pay the same. So for Chief Talk, they're both going to get the same amount of attention. All right. So back to something you said during the dry boxing portion. I think it would almost be really neat if you took a cigar, Bob Cigar Guy.
I'm listening.
3 cigars. And you have a dry box, which we would have to find something to do as a dry box.
Right.
And then a Tupperware container. And then a Tupperware container that's a little over humidified, right? If I were those Bovita packs, it's like a 75.
So
right?
just take Bovita pack and run it under water, and then it's going to push out 90% humidity all the time.
Well, no. They sell Bovita packs that are for like the humidor humidification, where they're higher humidification packs. They sell the 75, which I like to keep my cigars at the 68 to 70 range. That's where I find my best smoking enjoyable experience. But I know that they have, I know they have Bovita packs that are over that. And so that would create a more humid cigar. And I think it would be neat because we have boxes of cigars here. We have the ability to do 3 of the same cigar. Neat to try to tell a difference in, get a palate cleanser and then just see, did dry boxing truly affect the
That is a
taste
good
of the
idea.
cigar, or was too? Because for me, when I think of dry boxing, or I think of a humidor like my boy Greg in the Deadly Breakfast Club that's sitting at like 87.2% humidity. Um,
God, are you not serious?
when Greg first joined the club, he had a whole bunch of cigars that he
Oh.
posted. He was like, "Oh yeah, look at the plume on these." Like, brother,
Oh.
that ain't plume.
Ooh.
No, it is plume. Plume's mold.
Ooh.
Anyways, and he was like, "Should I smoke them?" I was like, "No," because they were all over the foot. Some people say if it's not on the foot, you can wipe it off and go. Whatever. It was all over the foot.
You're
if
done.
it's on the foot, you don't know how far that
That's
was
right.
traveled back in
That's
there.
right.
But when it comes to me and thinking of a cigar that's under humidified, perfectly humidified, or over humidified, I don't really think of the flavor, right? One, my palate is not the world's greatest palate out there. I can pull flavors, and I know what I like and I know what I don't like. I've experienced that with every cigar I've ever smoked. As I've smoked more cigars, the longer I smoke cigars, the longer I'm in the industry, the better I am at getting to understanding. I'm not to the point where I can say, "Oh yeah, that's a Brazilian Mata Fina grown on the shady side of the Ataparata volcano mountains in a slightly acidic soil," like Bob Cigar Guy can, allegedly. But
Allegedly.
I do know when a cigar is too dry or not too dry, or ain't nowhere going to be dry, even if you just sit it out in the truck for a week.
We're talking about combustion and draw.
And burn
and draw,
and draw to an extent.
If it's really over humidified,
if it's
that
super
draw,
humidified or super under humidified,
it'll cork it down or blow it out.
Yeah, the draw either gets really loose or really tight. But I go more off of burn, because when these cigars are blended in their factories, no matter who the factory is, like they have put tobacco in there not only for flavor but for combustibility.
Absolutely.
And ability to burn.
Absolutely.
An even line. Like I've had to relight my cigar because I've been doing a lot of talking. Right, this is a small cigar. It's the Year of the Duque, brand new from Dunbar Tobacco Trust. Great cigar, by the way.
What do you think about that, by the way?
Really good, really good. I'm glad we bought a box of them because I have not given the cigar nearly the amount of time that I need to pay attention to it. But I do know that the bit of attention that I have paid to it, it is a top cigar. I'm conflicted on whether or not I'll include it in my list at the top of the year because it is so
only
limited.
2,000 boxes.
I'm not sure if I will or not. I'm not sure. I think this year is probably going to be one of my most comprehensive lists. Which the past 2 years I've put out a top 20 cigar list because I started out just doing 10 because I wasn't doing a whole bunch of blends. I was just kind of smoking a lot of the same stuff. Last 2 years I've had a lot of new cigars come across the desk, and this year I've had even more cigars come across the desk.
And your list is killing it this year.
It is. So I've got to continue to ride that wave hopefully next year. It's just an algorithm thing. Yeah, the content's great, but it's more of an algorithm thing.
Yeah, the content's great, but it's just an algorithm. But the content is great.
Yeah, it says notes of dirt, leather, bananas, and raisins. Cigar Pop says, Bob, I posted the Safari Style Acid 20th Anniversary Box Press on Discord.
Boom.
Now, Bob the Cigar Guy is not on Discord. There's a bot that posts for him, but it's not him. So it's called the Chief Talk Cigar Lounge for a reason. It's because it's my baby. But I'm on there, and I do my best to try to comment and get back to everybody that's on there. And hey, we added a whole bunch of people on there. I don't know how many, probably 3 or 2 or 4, 75. I don't know. We'll see. But for me, going back to what I was talking about with the dry age or the dry boxing, the kept regular and then over humidified is, for me, I always think, the wrapper popped, or it just burned really wonky, or it just felt crumbly in my fingers or something like that. Like when you pick up a cigar, you can really look at it and see, yeah, that's definitely a problem. Now, sometimes I don't allow that to affect my smoking experience. I was actually talking with Gary Brooks in the Discord today about he smoked in a J.C. Newman American, and in the top of his cigar, some of the tobacco actually fell out. So he had it was like a baller from Cigar Medics had taken it out. And I said, I'd had that happen before. He was like, yeah, it's nothing I'd ever complain about. And I said, yeah, I don't ever complain about my cigars. When it comes to, because it's a handmade product. It's natural. You're gonna have a lot of that. Also, I'm blessed in the sense that I am in the media, and so part of my job and requirements is getting cigars. So a lot of them we don't pay for them out of pocket, but we pay for them with our time working those cigars, right? So it's not like I just get a buttload of free cigars and I just do with them as I will. It's one of the perks of the annoying parts of the job. I won't get on too much of a soapbox there, but I was smoking my Papasaka on the way over here today. Not usually a truck stick, but I saw it. I wanted to smoke it. I smoked it. I haven't been smoking a lot of cigars that I know that I love. Papasaka is a cigar that I know that I love. I got it at PCA. I smoked it on the way here, but it got a mouse hole right on the top of it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Okay, and I just went back to smoking, and guess what?
It burned
the rest
through.
of the cigar caught back up to it, and it smoked just fine.
Usually, if you take your time with it and don't just really start hitting it real hard right then, it'll work its way around.
I had an H99 Toro last weekend that tunneled for the first 2.5 inches of the cigar, and it was a pretty poor smoking experience for a little while. You know what I did? I took my pocket knife, I chomped down the middle of it, I relit it into a petite Corona, and smoked it and enjoyed it, and didn't complain about it. Didn't have to worry about it. The only reason you're hearing about it is because we're talking about the subject right now. Some people, they say, well, I've worked hard for my cigars. Yeah, you absolutely did. I'm not taking that away from you at all. But everybody looking to get these, warranties on their cigar, Doc, there's that funny joke. I don't know if it was really real or whatever. He spent like $10,000 on 10 cigars, and he smoked them all. And then he went to he got an insurance policy on them, and so he went to the bank, and they said, well, you had an insurance policy against fire on your cigar, so we're going to give you $10,000 back. Well, then the insurance company turned around once he deposited the money and sued him for 10 counts of arson. Right. So it's like, yeah, you bought the cigars, but to me, there should be a little caveat down at the bottom when you sign your receipt that says, I'm going to burn these things. They're made by hand. They're handmade products. They don't have chemicals in them that help edge out the burn. And maybe you need to go back and watch that YouTube video Chief put out about lighting your cigars right.
Well, but if you get in on the other end of it, on the other end of the spectrum, if you get a box of 20 cigars and the first 5 that you pull out, there's some problem with it. That's a credible argument. But if you have 1 out of 50 cigars that aren't burning exactly perfect, I don't think that's worth complaining about. Right.
And I don't believe, I know we've changed topic here a little bit. When I saw somebody the other day posted a picture of a Rocky Patel Java, which is rolled by Drew Estate. They were big old Gordo box presses, and he said that he normally smokes them. He bought a box because he smoked so many of them, and every single one he's pulled out of the box has just blown up on him. Well, in the photo that he posted of the cigar, it's a box press, and it's a tight box press, and it's a big cigar. It was super bulbous down at the bottom, saying, I have not stored these cigars properly. Of course it blew up on you because you didn't store the dang thing right. I saw another post in the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust group where the guy complained about tunneling, and he took a picture of the tunnel starting when he first lit the cigar. You want to know what half of the foot was not? Toasted. I just spit all over my camera.
Now, if I'll tell you what, I'll call you out if I ever see anybody post a picture of a bad burn at the beach.
All right.
I'm sorry. You're at the beach. Unless you're holding your cigar and you're rotating it constantly while you're puffing on it, there's no way that you're not going to get air issues from the side of that cigar. It's just like if you had a jet blower blowing on one side of the bonfire, that side's going to burn out faster, right? It's the fuel, it's the air in the dang thing. Yeah. And
that's like going to the beach and eating a sandwich and complaining there's sand in your sandwich, right?
Or people are sitting close to you at the beach.
I'm gonna share it. Michael Zakvik says that's the latest thing.
You got into a complaining, get off my lawn kind of vibe just now.
So here's the thing with that, Michael Zakvik, is it's actually not new. for the past couple years, it has been huge in the Drew Estate Facebook group. And one of the things that Drew Estate has done such a good job about doing over the past few years, it's actually probably been, I want to say it was pre-COVID, honestly, that I've been noticing it over there, is Drew Estate would go to the people and say, hey, please email us at help@drewestate.com and we will make this right.
Regardless.
Now, I don't know what that means, right? We can speculate what it means, but the FDA may be watching. But Drew Estate would take care of these people. And so what happened is people said, I can post a picture of an unbanded cigar and say, look at my Liga Privada H99. It just didn't do it. I've had the whole box burned this way. I can't believe it. And you know what? Drew Estate takes care of them. I don't know how they take care of them, but you don't see many complaints out of those people ever again.
Right.
And so I've noticed here recently that there are other cigar groups that are starting to see this influx of people complaining about their cigars, because I think, like Steve Saka, he will tag Anna, who is his daughter-in-law, and say, hey, will you make this right?
Or David.
Right. I always see Anna. I think people are starting to try to game the system a little bit. And what's going to suck is people are going to start gaming the system. These cigar companies are going to start saying, you know what, we're just going to... And some cigar companies don't. They're like, hey, sorry about that, man. I really hope that doesn't turn you off from our brand. Hopefully the next one smokes good for you. And I hope that nips it in the bud for a lot of people. Because I like to think there are more honest people in the cigar smoking community than there are not. And I would say so, because you do see those posts and they're loud and they have a lot of people commenting on them. But there's more good than there is bad. The Drew Estate Facebook group has like 50,000 people in it or something like that. It's a lot of people who are in that group. So I hope that that's, something that doesn't bite real people's problems in the butt with.
Right.
And a lot of times people, like, especially in the Dunbar Tobacco and Trust one I've seen, is, hey, this is what happened to me. Just wanted to kind of let you know about it. And I'm not looking for any kind of handout on it. I'm not looking for you to say anything. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. In my case, don't do it in a public forum. Go to the DMs and say, hey, man, or an email. All these people are reachable by email at some point. Say, look, this is what I've noticed. If you really spent that much money on a box, I'd be going to the man himself first anyways, because
give him a chance to make it right.
I spent $400 on a box of Liga 9. I want this made right. But again, here's the thing about that. We've been to Nicaragua. We've been to Drew Estate's factory. We've been to Hoyt, Nicaragua's factory. When they roll these cigars, they don't hand a roller the tobacco in a box and bands and cellophane and say, okay, roll this box for me. You know what they do? They roll those cigars, their daily allotment of H99 or T4, T20, T52s, L40s, Kentucky Fire Cures, Underground 10s, whatever it be. They roll those cigars. They put them up on top of their desk. Somebody's job is to come by, inspect those cigars, look at those cigars, they grab them up, they put them in a matzo, they take them, they put them in the aging room in their area, and they sit there and they age for a while. And you know what happens after that? When it's time to make boxes of H99 or T52 or Umbagog or Juarez or The Edge from Rocky Patel, they go into that area, they grab 10,000 cigars, they go into the band wrapping area, and they say, okay, put these bands on these cigars. We're going to put bands on these cigars. You know where they go after that? Sorting. Because just because I have 14 of these cigars in a box doesn't mean that all 14 of these cigars were rolled out of the same lot of tobacco. They're all blended the same. They're all rolled the same. But the wrapper might have a different little bit of a shade. It might be a little bit darker, and it would look weird if it was sat next to the other ones. It might be a little bit lighter. It might look weird sat next to the other ones. So they go to the sorting table and they say, okay, these are all Year of the Duques. But as you can see over on the far left, they're lighter wrapper a little bit by 10 degrees of shade. Over on that side of the table, you've got wrappers that are darker by 10 degrees of shade. If you put that over here versus the middle, 10 degrees, maybe not going to catch it. But you put that dark wrapper over here next to this light wrapper, 20 degrees. Whoa, now we've got ourselves a color discrepancy. Some companies don't care about it, right? They'll make seconds, segundos. Romacraft does segundos. Oliva does segundos. Other companies do segundos. I think segundos are a great idea. Torn wrappers, imperfections in the wrappers, whatever. They're still going to smoke great. They're still going to taste great. You get them at a cheaper rate because they're just not as good of a quality of cigar. They wanted to put a band on it. Doesn't have the band. Probably doesn't have the cellophane. And it comes in a pack instead of a box, right? But all the cigars that you get in your Liga T52 box are not from the same batch. A guarantee, I'm willing to put a 100% guarantee on that. Even if 23 out of 24 of those cigars in that H99 box are from the same batch, one of them's from a different batch. Why? Because color grade didn't make it, a little bit short, a little bit long, maybe the cap was a little bit wonky, and so they picked the best 24 that they find, they put them in that box. So I call bull by a large margin when somebody says, my whole entire box smoked like crap. Okay, fine. If it did, you stored it like crap. Sorry. That was a long rant. Let's see. A lot of comments going on over here. I had cigars canoe, but I was on my scooter in the wind. Was it the cigar or the wind? It might have been the cigar, but because you're on the scooter and you recognized it, there's a good chance that it could be blamed to wind. Fireborn says in the M81 promo video they run on dojo events, it has always surprised me that they show a slightly bad burn for a few seconds, and I've had to correct those M81s when I've smoked them. It's more here. Could you try to make the perfect burn on it? Sure. But maybe the tobacco just burns a little bit wonky. And again, I've had cigars that don't burn completely great the whole entire time, like that Papasaka that I smoked on the way here. Did not burn great for the first inch and a half because it had a mouse hole. Did it turn into a bad cigar? Absolutely not. It turned into a great cigar. It was a great cigar. Makes me wonder if the M81 line has an inherent problem. Maybe the blend burns a little differently. Obviously, these cigars are.
It is solid Maduro, so there is some challenges in a full
and
Maduro.
then he says the M81 is still a good smoke. And I think that's the key is it still a good smoke? Even if it's not the most picturesque cigar. Cigars aren't meant to be picturesque, right? I'm not saying that you're saying that. Please don't. I'm not attacking you. I'm not. I think a lot of people get caught up in the, oh my goodness, this $75 Davidoff had a razor burn the whole entire time, but this $6.50 factory smoked Maduro didn't. It's like, okay, you got a $68 differential in between price. Sean Crowley, welcome to the show. Charles Adamson says storage is key. Since I got good sealed temp controlled humidors with Cigar Oasis digital humidifiers, I always try to let the new purchases rest in them for a couple of weeks. Far fewer burn problems now. And if that's the way you roll, you're definitely going to have a much better smoking experience once you get those cigars at your door or to your burn time. Jim says, my issue is Jonathan Drew doesn't smoke cigars anymore. It's like Henry Ford driving a Chevy. It would be more like Henry Ford walking everywhere, right? He doesn't drive. He's not driving the competition. He's just not driving. And here's my thing with Jonathan Drew and not smoking cigars. Doesn't mean that he still doesn't love the passion and the craft. I don't know why. We don't know why. Nobody for sure knows why other than Jonathan Drew and anybody he's told verbatim why he does it. It's just his thing. I don't know why.
We would never ask.
He used to smoke cigars. But Jonathan Drew's also not blending cigars. You know who is? Willie Herrera and his blending team. And you know what they do? They smoke cigars. Cigar Pop. My biggest problem with Drew Estate last year was the cap and shoulder unraveling. Didn't complain. I invested in cigar glue. Hey, props to you, Cigar Pop. I'll never ask for a refund. That feels wrong to me. I've always been able to correct bad burns. Tight draws are a bummer, though. That is about the worst experience in a cigar for me, other than just a cigar that tastes like crap, is a bad burn or a tight draw, because that for me unlocks this like rage monster. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't. Like I'm enjoying this cigar, but I can't get it to draw right, and I'm having to fight the whole thing the whole entire time. I use sealed jars in Boveda, Colorado. Is too dry for wood humidors. Fireborn, when did you get here? Hello, Mr. Salty. Been here early the whole show. Yeah, Michael Zachary, you were over on Facebook earlier, though, right? I do feel bad that I'm not giving the cigar nearly the amount of attention I should be, because I feel like I'm relighting the cigar more than I'm puffing on it. Well, cigar guy, you've been really quiet over there.
Dude, I've just been letting you take off because you seems like you got some stuff to talk about.
No, I mean it's nice to have something to talk about, obviously. And this is a topic that comes up once or twice a year, and I
Right.
go on my little tail rant about it. And honestly,
Nothing
I,
out of bounds. I mean,
I
nothing you
think
say
a
is out of
lot of it
bounds.
comes to just the passion of the craft. I really enjoy cigars. I talked a little bit earlier about one of the reasons why I love photography and videography so much is because it gives me that creative scratch. Like I've got the creative itch. I want to do something, and putting together photos and videos and staging things and getting props out or buying props or seeing things that make me want, or even when I'm not doing cigars, just being out on a nature walk with my kids, being at the zoo last weekend, taking pictures out there. Like a lot of those pictures, most of the pictures I take never see the light of day. Why? I didn't like the composure. I just wanted to take the time to take the shot. I wanted to stretch my bounds in the art of photography and doing something that I normally don't do. But it's like I took last week when we got the box of the Year of the Decay. I took 37 photos, and I ended up finding 4 that I liked. Now some of them were repetitive with a little bit different angle change. I pride myself in making a post of photos that are not the same photo, just tilted a little different way. But that for me it is the way that I kind of relieve that itch with cigars. People who are creating these cigars have some sort of creative juice in them, and they're spending time to make these cigars. And every time I see somebody just dumping on a cigar because I feel like they're just trying to get free cigars, it really kind of frustrates me. It kind of ticks me off. So it's something I get passionate about. It was like twice a year. So you got it one more time coming this year. We got one out of the way. Gary Brooks says he came back. It's too cold outside. The Cuba Arte video was classic. Yeah, gotta talk about an old video. That was like the first time I ever tried to get creative with it. I was still shooting on an iPhone back then. Fireborn says I have a draw enhancer, but sometimes that doesn't even help. But those are usually cigars I've never heard of. DE, Saka, Fuente, etc. I've never had draw problems with. I smoke a lot of Drew Estate. I smoke a lot of Saka. I've had issues with them, but I have nowhere near the issues that I had with some companies I don't like. Debonair is a company that I won't pick up cigars of ever again because every Debonair cigar I ever smoked was just like trying to draw through a straw. It was so loose of a cigar. I just gave up on the brand. But for the most part, especially with Drew Estate, I don't say it just because they're a huge channel sponsor. 99, we'll go to 97.7% of the time, it's a cigar that smokes exactly like it's supposed to, within reason. Yeah, it might have a little burnish. You might burn a little wonky. I didn't store it right, or I'm smoking in a condition that's not conducive to a great smoking experience. But very rarely have I had to look at a Drew Estate cigar and say, "Okay, I'm done with this." I had, like I was talking about earlier, last week I smoked that H99 Toro, had a terrible tunneling problem, and so I cut the cigar in half, and then I finished the second half of the cigar. Great, no problems. Really enjoyed it. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. You falling asleep over there, Bob Cigar?
No, I'm just listening. You got it. It's Chief Talk, not Bob Talk.
It is Chief Talk. But we are right here at 10 o'clock. I do want to thank you all for hanging out with us again this week. Cigar Pop says My Father the Judge was like an open straw. Definitely didn't live up to the hype. I like the Judge. I'm sorry that you had a bad experience with that. And one of my go-tos with having a bad experience with a cigar is I'll try to smoke another one if I can. Unless if it's a blend that just tastes like rubbish, I might not ever go back to it. And I've done that before. But I do try to make sure, because we go back to that whole, you might have just had a cigar that was rolled wrong, one out of a box, or rolled bad, or the blend was off and it was backwards, whatever it be. I don't know, the quality control issues that could happen before it gets put in a wrapper and a cellophane. But, I do try to give cigars another shot. Maybe it's not immediate. But I do try to give them another shot. And if they burn bad on me twice, they taste bad on me twice, that was enough for me. I really don't have to go. What's the odds of getting 2 bad cigars back to back from that? Probably really, really low, or they're just cigars that I don't enjoy. I like the La Aroma de Cuba Noblesse way better. Nice. Bob Cigar Guy, before we get out of here, is there anything you'd like to say?
Keep watching the videos. Chief's putting out some fantastic stuff from the PCA. We got lots and lots coming. I still counted probably another 12 or 13 still coming out, and they're all going to be bangers, I about guarantee. So check them out. We need the views.
I mean, we appreciate the views. Obviously, I would love to see every single one of those videos get the love that Saka got. Like, Saka's booming. You know, obviously, Saka always does really well for us. Foundation's doing really well. Jason Newman's doing well. We have a handful of them that are over the 100 mark. We'd love to see that 100 mark because it's like, oh, nice. It's nice to be able to see 100. If every video had 100, when we get done with this, we'll have 4,000 views off of our videos. We can go back to Drew Estate and say, hey, and that's just on YouTube, not what gets put on the shorts on Instagram and shorts on Facebook. The best value for our buck. So if you have not gone back and watched any of those videos, just because it was a brand that you're really not interested in, or it's a brand that you don't like the brand or whatnot, if you can stomach it, at least just click on it and watch the 30-second intro of Bob Cigar Guy smoking slow and not saying Drew Estate. Because we don't send the watch time of each video. We might with the Saka one, because the watch time on the Saka one is like 28-minute average or something like that. It's great. So, yeah, definitely go back, watch those videos if you have not. If you've watched them, keep commenting on them. Let us know. We talk about them in the Discord. If you join the Discord, welcome to the Discord. Glad to have you. Looking forward to it. Again, I'll plug it one more time. Next week, we will have a new photo. It might be Garrett Brooks again, but it'll be a new photo for sure of the stick pick of the week. Chiefs still get picture of the week. Post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick. Somehow the font for pick got bigger than the rest of it. So without further ado, oh wait, wrong one. That one. Thank you to our channel. Let me get back in my chaise lounge here. Thank you to Natural Cigar and Drew Estate for bringing Chief Talk to you guys every single week, making sure that we have the ability to come out here, smoke cigars, and have just a really fun time doing it. Tonight was a fantastic show. Again, we got over the 30 mark. We hit 32 tonight, I think it was. No, it was 33. We hit 33 tonight. So we did not continue our 40 streak that we had last week, but we are 30 for now 4 weeks in a row, and I think it was 13 shows out of 18 shows this year that we eclipsed the 30 concurrent viewers across YouTube and Facebook. And then obviously hitting 30 tonight means that we are still on 18 out of 18 shows this year in 2025 of hitting 20 concurrent views at one time. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in the cigar live show game, especially when you don't bring on a bunch of guests every single week, is a huge accomplishment. And being able to tell that to Drew Estate and Natural Cigar at the end of the year is going to be fantastic and great. So thank you all for hanging out with us once again. I do love you all. Thank you again for just taking the time out of your week to sit with us, smoke with us, drink with us, or just sit back, relax, and have a good time. I will see you next week. Post up on the Discord. We got a lot of videos we've got AJ Fernandez comes out tomorrow. I don't remember who comes out after AJ Fernandez on Saturday. And then we run the gamut again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before I see you guys again. So what is that? 6 videos that we will have posted in between now and then. Do let me know which ones are your favorite. And hopefully there'll be some really fun stuff in between. I love you all. Thank you all. Peace out.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com
I am beat. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.